It's 6:30, straight ahead. One student arrested after several fights broke out at a Sherman high school. Now parents and students chiming in about how it was handled by the district. And a man arrested after throwing an object at a moving car, what the driver says led up to that incident.
Plus, we are looking at some very dense fog and drizzle. The rain is yet to move in, and some of that may be very heavy.
These stories and more are next. The news starts right now.
Live from 12 Studios, this is News 12 AM.
Good morning, Texoma. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Christy Waite. Jeremy Thomas is out on assignment, but we do have meteorologist Tom Miller joining us now for a quick check on our morning forecast. Kind of a gloomy start.
It is. Visibility is less than a half a mile in some areas due to the fog and the drizzle, and we're still anticipating some heavy rainfall. And as you can see on the satellite and radar, right now just some general light showers along and east of 6975. But the main event still out in Arizona and off to our north in Kansas. That is an upper level system and a cold front that will bring us the potential for some heavy thunderstorms, not severe, but heavy thunderstorms in the form of 1 to maybe 3 inches of rainfall. And there you go, some visibility is being restricted at this moment because of the low clouds settling on the ground. For the bus stop weather, you bet you need the rain gear today. 58 to around 64 currently and 66 at lunch hour with some rain and a few embedded thunderstorms and some heavy rain possible at 3 o'clock through the evening. So definitely the kids need to be aware of their conditions. And hour by hour, temperatures expected to be unseasonably warm, but at the price of on and off showers and thunderstorms. Our forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Tom. Well, we do have breaking news this morning. Firefighters are battling a fire in Sherman. Our very own Jeremy Thomas is out in the field right now to give us a little more information on what's happening. Jeremy, what can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right, Christy. I'm out here in the 1400 block of South Montgomery Street in Sherman. There was a house fire. I'm going to step out of the frame so you can kind of see what fire crews are dealing with right now. You can see that they are still on scene, just trying to make sure there are no hot spots still with this structure that did burn, and of course trying to make sure that there will be no rekindling of this fire. Now, the fire started just after 4:15. Fire crews told me that once they arrived, this structure was fully engulfed in flames, but all of the people in the structure were actually outside. Now, one person was taken to a local hospital with minor injuries. That person is expected to be okay, but as you can tell, this house is a total loss. I talked to the battalion chief earlier. He did tell me that this house is a total loss. We do have the Salvation Army on scene to assist as well with this family. And then, of course, the 1400 block of this entire street of South Montgomery, it's closed right now. So if you take this road to go to work, to wherever you need to go, just try to find an alternate route. I can already see a vehicle turning around. Just stay away from this area. Fire crews are still trying to investigate. There's no cause just yet, but the battalion chief did tell me it is not suspicious. That's what we have right now. Reporting live in Sherman, I'm Jeremy Thomas.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. A spat between neighbors ending with a brick or something like it being thrown at a driver's windshield as a car went down the highway. Now, one of those neighbors could spend a decade in prison. News 12's Shelby Dowler shows us the damage.
Pontotoc County Sheriff's deputies say it was here on State Highway 1 between Ada and Allen where a man threw an unknown object at his neighbor's moving car. 32-year-old Travis Dean DeVinny of Allen faces one charge of throwing or dropping an object on a motor vehicle. Reports say a deputy was dispatched around 7 Sunday night to a call of a driver trying to run another vehicle off the road. Reports say the suspect's car passed the victim's car and drove ahead. Sheriff John Christian says the victim came around a curve and saw the suspect standing next to his car.
They were hit by an object that they believe probably was a brick.
Christian says the object damaged the passenger side of the windshield. Later, the victim told deputies he knew DeVinny and believed it was him on the road. Reports say DeVinny and the victim had been working together, and the victim had been dating a family member of DeVinny's.
And I don't know whether that ended not well or what, but apparently the suspect, DeVinny, was upset about it.
Officers were able to find DeVinny at a house in Allen and arrest him. Christian says no one in the car was injured, but the incident could have been much worse.
That object could have gone completely through the window and hit either the passenger or the driver. Either one could have killed them. So, this is very serious anytime you throw something at a moving vehicle.
Christian says Devaney posted a $5,000 bond and was released. He could face up to 10 years in prison if found guilty. In Pontotoc County, Shelby Dowler, News 12.
Several fights broke out yesterday at Sherman High School that led to one student's arrest. A video that surfaced online showed students fighting all over school, and even a chair was thrown. Sherman police say there were no serious injuries and no weapons were involved. Administrators say there will be additional security and supervision on campus today. Any parents or students who may have concerns should report it to police, or you can find the link to Sherman ISD safety concerns on our website or on our KXII app. Ardmore police are asking for your help in identifying two people suspected of passing counterfeit money. They say the woman used the fake bills at a local business on Sunday. If you recognize the woman or the pickup, you're asked to contact the police. And students had to evacuate at a Denison Elementary gym yesterday after smoke caused a bit of a scare. Mays Elementary principal Natalie Hicks says they smelled smoke in the gym during the last class of the day. Everyone waited outside for about 20 minutes until firemen cleared the area. She says a motor in the AC unit malfunctioned, and that's what caused the smoke.
Students were never in any danger, but we evacuated the building just to be safe and sorry.
Hicks says they hope to have the AC fixed by sometime this week. And thousands of dollars have been raised for the young Denison softball player who passed away over the weekend. D-Bat Batting Cage in Sherman created an online fundraiser for Presley Mitchell's family. In just over 24 hours, they raised nearly $30,000 and are planning to host a chili dinner with Knife and Whisk Catering Company, planning to donate the chili. D-Bat owner Chase Tidwell says that they have received donations from all over the country.
Just the power of sport is important, and it's uniting, and it's unbelievable.
Tidwell says if you would like to donate any food or dessert, it must be dropped off at D-Bat Texoma by noon on Sunday. Two people are recovering from a crash last night in Gunner. It happened shortly after 10 on 121 in Wall Street Road. Officials believe the car may have lost control of the vehicle due to weather and road conditions. Neither appeared to be intoxicated, but that is not confirmed at this time. They say the female driver was ejected from the car at the time of the crash. Neither the driver or the male passenger of the vehicle were wearing seatbelts. The two were transported to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. As of now, Gunner police are still investigating the cause of that crash and will provide more updates a little bit later. Let's go ahead and get a quick check on that morning forecast. We have meteorologist Tom Miller joining us now, and we keep saying it's gloomy outside.
It is very gloomy. Visibility's down to less than a half a mile in some areas. Fog, drizzle, even a few light showers, and boy, we're still not even seeing the heavy rainfall yet to move into the area, which will a little later on today, tonight, and tomorrow. So grab the rain gear. You're going to need it. A little extra time getting to work and school. Right now, the little shower activity we do have on radar is basically confined to along and east of 6975. But area-wide, we are seeing the cloud just kind of settling down on the ground, leaving us with foggy and drizzly conditions across the area. Example, look at our TMC tower cam, which has been sponsored by Blackbeard Marine. Visibilities are getting, again, low in some areas, less than a half a mile. So please be careful on those roads. They're wet from the drizzle, reduced visibilities. We just don't want to have any more accidents across the area. Main upper level wave is now pushing into Arizona. That'll be with us late tonight and tomorrow. And once it gets closer, it's going to start to pull this front. It's a very strong front into the area. Actually has some polar air with it. We won't see the polar air, but we will see some modified cold air hit us Thursday afternoon and Friday, and we'll get to that forecast in a moment. We're at 57 in Clayton, 61 in Medill, 57 in Ringling, 64 in Bonham, 65 degrees in Sherman Denison. The normal high for this time of the year is 66, so it is warm, it's muggy, and it's a very dreary start to our morning. Winds out of the southeast at about 2 to 7 miles per hour, and there you go. Visibility is less than a couple of miles in many locations, so be extra careful on those roads. Elevation at Lake Texoma at 617.58 feet. On and off showers and thunderstorms. Thunderstorms non-severe throughout the morning into the afternoon. We'll see more in the way of thunderstorm activity this evening, and then overnight, Yeah, we'll see a good line of showers and thunderstorms could produce some brief heavy rainfall. We're still looking at rain amounts of 1 inch, and in some of those isolated areas, we could see up to 3 inches of rainfall. Things start to settle down for us by Thursday afternoon. Once that front cuts through, those gusty north winds up to 30 miles per hour, dropping the temperature but chasing the precipitation away. So Friday morning, we'll wake up to partly cloudy skies, but chilly conditions. Now, the weekend looks pretty good. Mostly sunny skies Saturday and Sunday, and the next little storm system moves in on Monday with some cold rain. So what we're looking at hour by hour, actually we're going to get to the precipitation. You can see 1 to maybe 3 inches in some isolated areas, but hour by hour, temperatures creeping into the mid to upper 60s. A few of us could even reach around 71 to 72. We'll drop down to 52 tonight. 55 late tomorrow morning before that temperature starts to take a dive, but on and off showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy rain. A chilly start Friday, and we'll see clearing skies and 50. Great weekend with temperatures in the lower to mid 60s, but Monday it is going to be cold. 30% chance of rain and a high of only 45. We'll be right back.
The families and loved ones of 9 Americans slain in Mexico are stunned by this week's horrific ambush attack. Mexican cartel gunmen opened fire on 3 women and 6 children, all living in a Mormon community south of the border. Now the Trump administration wants to fight back, but Mexican leaders are saying, not so fast. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has the story.
I think a lot of us are just speechless. It's horrific.
Family members grappling with the loss of 3 mothers and 6 children, gunned down by drug cartel members in an ambush in northern Mexico.
The violence and disregard for human life displayed by these criminal organizations is as barbaric and gruesome as any terrorist organization we see around the globe.
The assaults happened Monday afternoon, about 70 miles south of the U.S. border. Gunmen attacking 3 separate SUVs in 3 separate locations, miles apart. Each victim shot dead in a hail of gunfire or burned alive.
This is for the record. Nita and 4 of my grandchildren are burnt and shot up.
8 other children were able to escape the vehicles, found alive and hiding in the brush. At least 5 suffered gunshot wounds and were taken to the U.S. for treatment. On Monday, President Trump offered to help Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador wage war on the cartels. He declined, saying, "The worst thing you can have is war." But Senator Tom Cotton says he's not confident Mexico's president will take action against the cartels.
If the Mexican government cannot protect American citizens in Mexico, then the United States may have to take matters into our own hands.
There are multiple theories as to why the vehicles were ambushed, including mistaken identity. The FBI has opened an investigation into the deadly attack. Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Millions of Americans went to the polls for a variety of local and statewide races around the country yesterday, but a handful of races were being watched as a leader for the 2020 presidential election. CBS' Laura Podesta has more.
Thank you, Kentucky!
Democrat Andy Beshear declared an upset victory in Kentucky's gubernatorial race last night.
This election is over. After tonight, we move forward.
But current Republican Governor Matt Bevin has not conceded.
Would it be a Bevin race if it wasn't a squeaker?
Bevin is down by less than 1 percentage point in a state President Trump won by nearly 30. He can ask a court to approve a recount.
This is Kentucky. This is the way we roll.
The governor tried to tie himself to President Trump, who came to Lexington Monday night to help with the campaign.
And if you lose, they're going to say Trump suffered the greatest defeat in the history of the world. This was the greatest. You can't let that happen to me.
The Trump campaign said of the result, the president just about dragged Governor Matt Bevin across the finish line. Kentucky's other statewide races all went Republican, including Attorney General. Daniel Cameron became the first African American in state history to win that office.
Now it's time to not only talk the talk, but to walk the walk.
In neighboring Virginia, Democrats rode a suburban wave of support to flip both the state House and the Senate.
Virginia is officially blue. Congratulations.
It's the first time in over 20 years that Democrats have control of the legislature and the governor's office. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
And as we get ready for break, here's a look at today's gas price averages across the counties.
From the Weather Authority, here's Tom Miller.
Gloomy start to our morning with fog, drizzle, even a few light showers starting to develop in eastern areas of Texoma, moving off to the east at 20 miles per hour. Grab the rain gear. You definitely will need it. This is a look at our Ardmore Tower cam, looking up northward along Commerce Street. Can't show you much of Commerce because the dense fog that has developed as these clouds have just kind of settled over the area. We have the upper level system out in Arizona. It'll be headed our way later tonight and tomorrow morning. Along with it, that cold front that'll cut into the area. Right now, very mild though, temperature-wise, with 55 in Duncan, 61 in Ada, 55 in Antlers, 61 in Medill, 66 in Sherman and Denison, 63 degrees in Durant, and winds are out of the southeast at about 3 to 10 miles per hour. So very mild, but again, need that rain jacket, 1, for the drizzle, 2, also the anticipated 1 to maybe 3 inches of rainfall throughout again today, tonight, and tomorrow. But you can see visibilities in some areas getting down to a half a mile or less. Dense fog advisories in effect for all of Texoma until about 11 o'clock this morning. Elevation at Lake Texoma at 617.58 feet and water temperature 67 degrees. And there you go. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, non-severe thunderstorms moving across the area this morning into this afternoon. Some of those thunderstorms could produce some brief heavy rain. Again, we're anticipating by Thursday afternoon 1 to maybe up to 3 inches of rainfall in some isolated areas. The heaviest of the rain will be later on tonight and through Thursday morning as that upper level system moves through. Eventually the cold front moves through, ending that precipitation early Thursday afternoon, but not before we see the potential of 1 inch to maybe 3 inches of rainfall, and a lot of that will fall during the evening or overnight hours where we can't see the roads all that well. So be careful on the roads tonight and tomorrow morning. And there you go, hour by hour, temperatures creeping up into the upper 60s, maybe a few of us into the lower 70s. But all in all, just kind of a dreary day. 68 will go on average, south to southeast winds of 5 to 15 with on and off showers and thunderstorms. Rain and thunderstorms likely tonight, especially late tonight towards midnight and thereafter. Some of that rainfall very heavy, so that means when we make our commute tomorrow morning, we're not going to be fighting the fog, we're going to be fighting potential heavy rain. So again, the bulk of that rain Thursday morning. By around lunchtime, that front cuts through the area, gusty north winds, falling temperatures, winds gusting up to 30. We could see easily lower 40s by Thursday afternoon, but partly cloudy Friday morning, a cold 33, and look at that high Friday afternoon with clearing skies 50. Cold ball games, but at least dry, and mild this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, mostly sunny with highs of 63 to 64. Another cold day in store for us Monday with a 30% chance of rain with the next cold front.
All right, thank you, Tom. Well, to recap last night, many voters across the Lone Star State took to the polls to have their voices heard in a number of state and local measures. And right here in Texoma, our biggest race was that $20+ million school bond in Denison. So let's go ahead and take a look at those numbers and the amendments on the ballots. Let's begin with the last night when voters passed the measure. With 55% of the vote, the bond will pay for the expansion of Mays and Hyde Park elementary schools, which are currently overcrowded with high security risks associated with some of its portable classrooms that house some of its students at the schools. But now that bond has passed, both Mays and Hyde Park elementaries will get new and renovated classrooms, new parking, bus loops, drop-off areas, and more. So far, a date has not been set on when construction will start, but with the additions and if the increasing enrollment continues, Denison ISD expects to provide space from pre-K to 4th grade for around 10 years. The bond is expected to raise property taxes about 2 cents. But district officials say homeowners will still see lower tax bills due to the new school finance bill the Texas legislature passed this year. Moving on to Sherman now, 3 amendments to the city charter on yesterday's ballot. The first would require city council members to serve 18 months instead of 1 year to constitute a full term. They're elected to 3-year terms. There you can see voters approved that measure last night. Another Sherman amendment dealing with term limits, Amendment B, would remove the restriction that a council member or mayor can serve a maximum of 2 consecutive terms in the same office and leave only the restriction that they may serve 4 consecutive terms in any combination of offices. That passed with 53% of the vote. Still staying in Sherman, voters were asked whether to remove restrictions for members of city's Planning and Zoning Board. Members were not allowed to hold any other city office while on the P&Z Board, and they can't be reappointed by the council after 2 terms for 4 years. Amendment C would remove those restrictions. Voters passed that measure last night. Another measure, on the ballot last night in Sherman, voters were asked to renew the city's 1/8% sales tax for repairing and maintaining Sherman streets. That measure passed last night with 80% of the votes. And the state proposition that got the most attention in Texas this year, dealing with a state income tax. Texas, of course, doesn't have one. But the tricky wording on the ballot confused many voters. Its passage would prohibit lawmakers from being able to impose a state income tax in the future, and it passed last night. For a list of other election results from last night, they will be available to you on our website and, of course, on our free app. Now here's a look at what's coming up on CBS this morning.
Coming up, were the 9 Americans gunned down in Mexico targeted by a drug cartel? The latest after an arrest in the case. Plus why mental health care is not always covered by health insurance and how you can avoid surprising bills. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
We do have light showers in eastern areas of Texas, but it's the fog and drizzle that gets your attention this morning, reducing visibilities to less than a half a mile. Dense fog advisory in effect until 11 o'clock for much of the area. The heaviest of the rain is yet to come. That'll come later this afternoon, tonight, and tomorrow, possibly 1 to 3 inches. 68 for a high today. We'll drop down to 52. Now that 55 for tomorrow, that's in the morning. We're going to see temperatures dropping into the 40s in the afternoon, and a chilly Friday, but at least dry.
So cold. I think it's freezing. It's funny seeing how these temperatures have changed so much, so quick, kind of.
Yeah, we just didn't even seem like we went much into fall. We've just gone to winter. We look at highs Monday, only expected to be in the upper 40s.
That's crazy. All right, well, thank you, Tom, and thanks so much for joining us this morning. We'll see you right back here at noon.